Hello, everybody, and welcome to another installment of the MRL Cup Series here on Saturday nights. This is a real fun race on our hands. Now, I say real as in air quotes around real because for some, Richmond is their best friend, and for others, it is their mortal enemy. It is a very love-hate relationship with this track. And for a lot of these drivers, they fall into the category of burn it down, at least with this game. Um, so, because of that, we have a lot in store for tonight. Critically, we need to talk about the point standings. We had a major shift last week in the points. That was, of course, the tale as old as time. Cyber and Xander, both of these drivers being tied going into last week, but Cyber was actually the one to come on out with a higher point total. Right now, 29 points separate those two. Of course, that's including stage points and whatnot. And because of that, look at that. They're right back on the front row. However, this is Xander's wheelhouse. We have been here for the Cup Series specifically one other time before, but we've been here in Sportsman, we've been here in Challenger before, and I'm pretty sure he has won them all. So, let's go back into this, or at least come close to winning them. Anyway, so let's go and unpause this timer. Let the drivers know that we're rocking and rolling, and let's get this show on the road. So, let me know. Here, rolling. Um, let me know, guys, who is all in chat right now wanting to show some support for your drivers. Make some noise. What are you guys rooting for? Who do you think is going to be the one to do it tonight? Because, like I said, this is going to be a very critical race. And I'm just talking about the top two. As soon as we get back into this lobby, we are going to be looking at the rest of the field because you should never forget about P3 in points. That is Sauce there. 68 points back, only 1 point short of the magic number, and he is going to be looking to have a good race here. Now, Sauce could have had a lot of potential for Canadian Tire. Unfortunately, strategy just did not work on out, and so bada bing, bada boom. Here he is in P3 in the standings. Also, P4 in the standings is Bassbuck, 74 points back, 6 points behind that. So we have a lot in store for tonight, and because of that, we have two different drivers that are going to be in the running here for P5. 8 points separates Liv as well as Stores, who were last week's winner. But critically, Bad for You is not going to be in this race. That is P7 in points. Packers, though, is. Keith is. Mike G is. Deathstorm and Just Ken as well can get some good points here. However, we have Baseball Kid, Joyrides, and all the, as well as Joshua Jaguar, not in this race. So, as we load on up in here, we are ready to get set, to get decked. Federated Auto Parts 400 apparently is the only night race that this game knows, at least for the Cup Series. So let's kind of move on back here because turn 3 is critical around here. Very bumpy. The balance for the actual race or the car itself does not really react well to the turn 3 bumps. However, turns 1 and 2, you can actually run a lot of different ways. You can actually run high to low. You can also run just painting that yellow line down there. There's a lot of things that you can do. However, there's going to be a couple of those that are going to be the crucial ones. So, of course, being as a part of our usual in-race streamers, we have a couple drivers that I want to highlight tonight. One of them is, of course, Fire Slayer. He is going to be one of our online personalities here. And I kind of want to give a break from our usual drivers here. So we have Fire Slayer and then Xander. Both of these drivers going to be the two drivers that we're going to be watching. Of course, we're on board with Fire Slayer right here. You can just see just how crazy the turns are around here. You can see the 11 getting into it right there, the 4 as well getting into the 42, so the 20 just being able to get 2 for the price of 1 right there for 1 corner, and that's exactly how quickly things can change. I know that's going to be quite literally how I describe a lot of things around here, but it is how quickly things can change. And just right here, the 42 is probably going to try to get the 20 on back right here. And again, here we are. Liam, and here's Just Ken leading up into P9. P8 right in front of him is Sauce. So in this first stage, we're looking at 34 laps, or sorry, 40 total grand laps, and these lap times are very, very short. They're only 22 seconds around here. So these laps are going to be clicking on off, and critically, you do not want to go a lap down in this first stage. Bush fan as well, getting into a really heated battle between the 42, the 20, and the 11 back here. All of these guys kind of getting into it. Like I said, there's Sauce. Here's Liv, which, by the way, I see you, Tay. How you doing today? Looking to show some support for his friend right here. There he is, actually, in P4, looking for P3, going underneath last week's winner of Story Square in that 88 machine, with the 12 of Mike G right behind. That is P5. Mike G critically did not make last week's race, and he was actually in the championship hunt. However, as much as I say, a lot of things can things can quickly change here. So if Mike can just consistently moves forward and just gets those stage points, he can actually make himself into another championship threat. However, this top two has absolutely just gunned it from the rest of the field here. We have three little packs. We have the top two, then you have third through ninth, all in a single file line back there, mind you, and then you have 10th through 14th in a little mini pack themselves. So as we kind of circle on through to our top spot here, here is Xander, the person that has won the most recent Cup Series race. This was just a season ago. And if you recall, that was in dramatic fashion as well. Elite Precision was actually dominating that race, but the one came out of nowhere and was able to clinch it there at the end. Now, here is something that I'm looking at right here in terms of this very short stage, is tire wear. As we just kind of cycle on through the different drivers here through the field, we have a lot of differing strategies when it comes to their preset choice. We have Fire Slayer that is absolutely cooking his right rear right now. In fact, let's go on board with him. There he is, actually kind of separating himself from the 42 as well as the 11 and the 4 back here. And because of that, he is absolutely just... he's running fast times, but he can get loose quicker and quicker. Because of that, he is actually going to be really looking to have some of that stability later on in the run. And stage 2 is going to be very critical for that, because that stage is a lot longer. In fact, if I do recall, we may be seeing pit stops in stage 2. I should think that is liable, but just want to make sure as we get there. Battle for P6 back here, or P6 and P7. You have Story Square, who was up in the podium positions, but you can see that maybe that was just a preset choice, running a little bit looser here in order to kind of gain a little bit more in the long run, as Just Ken is now making his way forward. You have the 9 of Sauce as well, starting to make his way forward as well, trying to get a little something back here, and that pass is now made. Story Square moves back to P7. Now Sauce is going to say, hey, you know what? You went high last time. You're gonna lose another spot right here, and he will. Sauce is going to be able to clear himself coming out of turn 2, and now looking into turn 3. They are just going to be back into a single file line. Bush fan as well, finding himself back behind the 42 8 ball here. But Liv Morgan fan critically lost position, lost touch with our top 2 right here, as Cyber is now starting to put a little pressure on the 1 just in front. However, 95 doing an excellent job here. Normally, he does a pretty good job at road courses. Unfortunately, last week he did DNF out of that race. Engine failure, you know, it sucks. But Team Blue on Black looking for a good run here. So far, they have yet to win a race. However, that is not exactly true when it comes to the polls. In fact, They're both tied when it comes to poles. Blazing Wheels has Phoenix and Canadian Tire, whereas Blue on Black has Daytona and Auto Club. So, because of that, I'm pretty sure Blue on Black, which unfortunately Joshua Jaguar is not with us here tonight. That is the team captain for Blue on Black. He is looking for a notch into that win column, and so far, Liv is the best bet for that. However, they are going to be looking up at against some stiff competition here when it comes to Blazing Wheels because of how stacked that field is. In fact, there was a question that was presented after the draft. Josh Jaguar was quite literally asking if he thought the Blazing Wheels draft was better than Team Blue on Black, and I was 100% honest. Yeah, first round pick was actually Xander, Bass, Cyber. All of these top notch drivers went to Blazing Wheels. So definitely here, as we approach the All Star race, we're looking to have another. Round of picks, hopefully for to kind of bolster the ranks of the Blue on Black. Moving forward here, we are really starting to spread on out right here. So looks like Keith has kind of lost touch with the two in front of him, and Deathstorm is in danger of losing a lap. If not, he has already lost a lap. I'm not quite sure on that. As long as Deathstorm, he's an F1 guy. He's subtly making improvements. However, he was unable to, in fact, I should probably go on board with him if I'm talking about him. Unfortunately, he was not able to race last week at Canadian Tire. That was his wheelhouse. So, unfortunately, something came up. You know what? Life gets in the way. And now, here he is at Richmond, which is quite the opposite to how an F1 circuit is figured. Again, all a learning experience here as we are quickly approaching, how many laps to go? We'll find out right now. 19, make that 18 laps to go here. 14 laps to go here as we go into this stage one. Again, I apologize for that little hiccup right there. We had a desynchronization with the lap count. So because of that, all of these drivers now quickly finding out how loose their car can get and what adjustments they're going to need. Currently, right now, the 1 and the 8 are still neck and neck in the front spot. However, the battle is for P3 back here. The 95 has it, the 47 and the 12 wants it. So this P3, P4, and P5, Mike G being the caboose on this train. And just behind them, you have the 00 Just Ken there in P6, having their own little pack. Looks like the 9 behind... the 88 right behind him with the 9 of Sauce being relegated back into P8 with Packers in P9. Again, get those setups in. We're looking to see what these drivers can do on fresh rubber as well as their setups in. Now, here is another question I wanted to ask, guys, is the layout for Richmond is very unforgiving to the untrained. If you are really, if this is your first time racing at Richmond, it's quite literally a skill check. Sonoma is kind of similar in that, where every turn is a skill check because turn 1 is deceptively tight. Let's take a lap on board with Cyber here. Of course, you're never fully on a straight here going into turn 1. You're always just wanting to find that yellow line as quickly as possible, but then you're off throttle majority of the corner, and then you want to pick it back up, and now here, tight left-hander, and again, you can run a different way here. You can run the middle lane, kind of like what Xander was doing, or you can run the bottom double yellow lane like Cyber was. So now Cyber here going to slow in, fast out. The 11 is going to get out of the way. Tip of the hat to him. And now, again, very loose coming off of 2 because there is a slight transition there. Very, very tight all the way around and very loose as well coming out of the corners for a bunch of these drivers. We're looking at 7 laps to go here in stage 1, so looking to see who will start to come alive here at the end of the stage. It looks like to me that is going to be the 47 of Bassbuck here, trying to get to the outside of the 95 of Liv, as well as Mike G right here. So it looks like these are the drivers that are starting to come alive here at the end of this race. However, there is still a lot to do. The 47 goes and hits the apron a little bit. That is going to be knocking him out of sorts a little bit. Still to the bottom, though. The 95 still giving plenty of room. But just with how loose these cars can get, these Xfinity cars, as we're going to see on Monday, are going to be a lot more planted to the ground. So I'm looking forward to see who will be able to master a loose setup around Richmond there for the Xfinity cars. And just like that, 2 spots are lost to the 95. So definitely my picks going into stage 2 has to be the 47 and the 12. They have proven to be one of the fastest here on the long run, and as we are just clicking on down the laps here in stage 1, they are actually making time on not just each other but the rest of the field, navigating around lap traffic quickly but effectively. You can see that the 2 getting out of the way. Now we have the 11 doing the same as well, but 95 getting loose right there. That is the opposite of the 12 and the 47 right now, just getting so loose off these corners. And now Fire Slayer has actually caught P9 right here. Fire Slayer kind of just being relegated into P10 for the majority of the race, has now finally caught the 9, who is, you can just tell right now, loose as heck. Definitely coming off of the corners here, he is absolutely sliding. Here's the 4 Bush fan as well, trying not to lose a lap. The 42 has unfortunately lagged on out of this race. Unfortunate for him, but he will get points for starting the race. So what started with 14 is now down into 13. And as we are, I do believe on the last lap, Xander leading the way here. Still coming on out of turn 4, Xander with the stage victory here at Richmond. Now, this is actually the, let me look at this here, just to make sure I'm not giving out false information. This will be his 4th stage win here, and this is only race 5 here. So excellent job so far in these stages. Let's see what the Discord will be talking about. Looks like Bass is apologizing to Story Score, so maybe there's a little bit more to the story about what... Oh, funny. Impromptu joke. I did not actually mean for that to be a joke, but hey, you know what? I'll take him where you get him. So here we are, moving into stage 2 here. Fire Slayer is the only one that has already pitted. Now just Ken, and the list will just go on and on. Mike G is well typing. Deathstorm. Oh, don't be so hard on yourself, man. As long as you just stay in the race, get those laps in under your belt, and we are going to be A-okay. Here we go. Moving into the next stage, we have it's actually Cyber now getting a spot on Xander. That is actually going to gift him 5 bonus points for leading a lap because he led under yellow. So only 2 drivers so far with those 5 bonus points, and now here we are with only the top 12 being the ones on the lead lap. A little bit of lagnation there in the beginning part. A little bit of contact as well. That goes the 8 with the 1. The 8 is going to go down low, and there will be side by side. My night is going good. Thanks for asking. We have 2 by 2 here in this long stage, and we will see pit stops here going into this stage. 53 laps. I'm assuming a lot of these drivers will be attempting 2, maybe even, 4 tires, maybe even 2, as the 4 into the background there, getting a little bit loose, and the 2 giving a lot of space, and the 11 getting the wall, and coming back off of it goes the 88 of Story Square. I'm wondering what happened there, trying to get back in working order. The 88 of Story Square, lap sweeps winner, now finding himself all the way into the back of the pack. Still side by side, the 8 trying to clear the 1. Finally is able to do it. Now the 1's going to try to snap back here with the... oh, no lunge there, but he will have the 47. That's his teammate right behind. We have the 47 right behind, and then also the 95 of Liv Morgan fan. Oh, big contact, big lunge going into turn 1. The 47 actually making contact as well with a little bit of the 95 on his left rear quarter. Moving into turn 3 here, the 8 really getting tight through those bumps. Now the 1 is going to be able to find himself on that left rear corner, and now moving into turn 1, quickly finding himself a racing line, and then going to be able to snap back on top. There we go, clear. So now it's going to be the 8's turn again, and again, much like Cyber the previous lap, all of these drivers hitting those bumps and are just not having a good time. The 8 down low, looking to have a little bit of launch out of the corner here. The 1, though, with the outside line, the outside momentum, the 1 still on hitting those bumps, and that is going to kill his momentum off of turn 4. And now the 8 is going to snap back with that lead. The 95 as well, trying to do a little bit of damage here. The 20 as well, trying to get his way up here. Oh, the 95! Absolute scenes of over here, getting into the 1 a little bit, kind of shuffling up the track. No harm, no foul, but that's exactly what I'm talking about. You do not want to be stuck on that high side, much like Martinsville. Being stuck on that high side is almost assuredly a death sentence, because it's going to be incredibly hard to get back down. So because of that, we have now a 7-car pack up into the lead here, with the 20 of Fireslayer being the caboose on this train. The 47 trying to just snap the nose off the 3 right there. Again, no harm, no foul. The 9 as well, trying to make his way forward. Here's the 88 making his way back from the rear of the field, back up into the top 10. So excellent job by him. Bushfan there in P11, Keith there in P12, and P13 being Deathstorm, as we have 1 DNF. That is Liam. Unfortunate engine failure there. No, again, nothing too crazy. It does happen. Now the 95 is looking to the bottom of the 8 right here. It's going to be a big lunge into turn 1. A little bit of apron touch right there, and that's going to put the 1 off of the kind of off of his preferred line, which is kind of a I call it the middle lane, kind of riding that white line all the way through. The 12 now trying to get a little momentum coming out of the corner. Now, already we are on lap 13 of the stage, 62 laps to go. This stage is actually very, it's long in terms of laps, but if you guys split it, it is going to be a little bit interesting, because there's going to be some that are going to ride it on out in case a yellow comes on out. There are going to be some that want to split it in order to get that track position. I don't know. I've done Richmond races here before where I've done both strategies, and some have worked, some haven't. It all depends on what happens with the rest of the field. Of course, there is the 42 DNF out of this race, but this is going to be a good camera shot coming out of the corner. Oh, it looks like something happened with the 47, and I am not sure. Let's go on board with the 20 to see exactly what happened, and caught the apron all the way through turns 3 and 4, and now the 47 is going to be all the way to the back of the pack right here. It's actually one of those things that rarely happens, but when it does, it literally ends your stage, at least for a little bit, because that is a slippery slope down there in turns 3 and 4. The more you want to find time, the closer you get to the yellow line. However, if you cross that yellow line, much like in Heat 3, it is absolutely a death sentence with how much it is like ice. So, definitely, these drivers here are running on the razor's edge of speed and control. So far, the 8 is Cyber doing it the best. He is our leader. The 1 right there in P2. The 12 of Mike G in P3. P4 will belong to Liv Morgan fan. And look at Packers up here into the top 5. He's one of those drivers that just kind of make his way up through the field slowly but methodically. And because of that, Packers is a driver you should never just count on out of any race. Of course, he is a previous winner in the Cup Series, 2-time winner back in Season 0. It has been quite some time since he has won. However, he is hungry for another win, and I'm sure when that day comes, not if, when that day comes, it will be a celebration, not just for himself, but all of the Discord, because he is a veteran, not just of MRL, but also league racing in general. Story Square, like I said, last week's winner, making his way through the field again after a rough stage 1, making his way into P8. P9 right now. Just Ken there, just in front of him, is P8, with Sauce there in P7, just in front of both of them. Because of that, all 3 of these drivers facing a little bit of difference in both handling and line. Story Square seems to be really tight in the centers. Just Ken seems to be loose on entry, and Sauce seems to be loose on exit. So because of that, all 3 of these drivers having difficulty when it comes to their handling all the way around. You see Just Ken really being able to send it on in. That's just how loose, but look how much momentum he loses on exit. That is indicative to me of a loose on entry card. He's able just to send it on in, but nowhere to go with it. And just in front of him is Sauce. You can see coming back up with the racing line how loose he is on exit. Meanwhile, Fireslayer with his difference in I'll say variance in strategy when it comes to his preset choice. He is actually rocking it there in P6, able to slowly but methodically make his way up through the field. And here is Mike G here in P3. Mike G has been in contention many times actually to get his first podium of his MRL career, but unfortunately it has yet to come. In fact, I'm actually waiting to hear from him in an interview, because I just want to know what he sounds like, honestly. But Mike G actually has one of the highest average finishes of the drivers that have turned a lap so far, with a average finish of P5, being only bested by 2 other drivers. That is Sauce, Cyber. That is Sauce, Cyber, and Xander. All 3 of those drivers being bested, and he's actually tied with Fireslayer, who has only turned 1 race. So, while 5th average finish, it does mean a lot for Fireslayer. He's looking to kind of keep that where it needs to be, and so far he's doing an excellent job. So what's going on, guys? How is everyone doing? So of course, Xander's rooting for Bass, as per normal. Tay is rooting for Liv Morgan fan. Of course, we have some Liv fans in chat. We have some Bass fans in chat. No fans of Xander, though. Critically, that is the critical information. Deathstorm has now called it a night. Unfortunate for him. So what was now 13 drivers is now down to 12. Unfortunate for Deathstorm, calling it a night. Hey, but you know what? Kudos for him. Some critical points being gained right there after missing last week. Of course, Liv is also putting in some time down here. He is looking to have a good finish because he lied at Canadian Tire. There we go, of course. Insopoli, thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. In fact, actually, no, there is a Xander fan right in there. And also, we do have Kate in chat, also rooting for Xander. So we do have some Xander fans in here. So because of that, we're going to be on board with him, trying to make a pass on the 8 right here. And as we approach, and just trying to get back live, we are 44 laps to go in this stage, quickly approaching halfway. So some of these drivers are going to be coming on down sooner rather than later for their first stop of the race, and this will be all green flag stops, mind you. So when do you want to come on down? This is going to be interesting. 74 laps in this stage. Logically, we're looking at 37 being the halfway point of this stage. So some, I'm sure, are going to try to pit at the halfway mark. I don't know. I don't know what to do because, like I said, I've worked out both sides of this story, and both of them have worked. And so it all depends on where you're at on track. If you are in the back of the pack, you want to stay on out. If you're on the front of the pack, you can afford a little bit of risk, because of course the risk of coming down at the halfway part of the stage is if a caution comes on out, you're kind of SOL. So it all depends on where you're at in the pack. If you're the farther on back you are, the more likely you want to stay on out because you're banking on a yellow. I call it the Stenhouse strat. He always did this. Whenever we have a stage, he would always stay on out and take 2 tires or even no tires just to get to the end of the stage. So that is a strat you can do. However, if you're one of these 2 leaders, you clearly have the pace in order to keep it up front, as well as to make your way through the field. So why not risk it? Why not kind of put your pedal to the metal and come on down a little early? So I don't know. We'll have to see what these guys actually decide on. Deathstorm saying that he... Oof. Discouraging words, man. Deathstorm, come on. It takes some time, man. It takes some time. Looks like JustKen deciding to come on out of the pits. He is taking that strategy. He has already come on down. Looks like Xander is also going to be coming on down, but he actually almost missed the pits. So because of that, there he is. He actually got incredibly loose and almost missed pit road. So now we have the opposite strategy. I'm sure Cyber is probably doing the exact opposite of whatever the one is doing. So, and again, that's also another viable strategy. Basically, just do whatever your competition isn't. So if one comes on down to pit early, you don't. Fire Slayer now finding his way up into the top 5, with Packers being elevated into P4. P2 now Mike G. So that 8 car of Cyber has all the time in the world in order to make on up here. So it's going to be interesting on how this goes. Oh, a little bit of contact, though, being made as we see... the 88 Astoria Square kind of get on by and getting a little bit contact heavy with the 20, now getting loose coming off the corner. I'm sure that's exactly what the 20 wants to see. So this is going to be mission critical for not just Xander, but also JustKen. JustKen is on fresh tires, so you can see right behind these two is the 00. He's on fresh tires. The 88 also coming on down. There he goes. So he is going to be getting his action on now. So let's go on board with the 3 of Packers. It looks like he's going to be coming on down this time. Same thing with the 95 as he gets into a little bit of contact with... the 95 will miss pit road. So that's going to be unfortunate for not just him, but the 00 as well, because he actually made a little contact with each other there. Let's see. Give me 1 second, guys. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. So I was actually encountering a little bit of lag issues with Fire Slayer, so unfortunately I will have to drop him from the streamer. So I will pick back up with Sauce. So apologies with that. So we're on board with live with Sauce as well as Xander back at it. 30 laps to go in stage 2. Sauce is going to be one of these drivers that are going to be staying on out. The 8 of Cyber still leads this race, so let's go on board with him. The 95 has already come on down, so he is way behind the pack, but has yet to has already pit. Bassbuck as well coming on down. Mike G has yet to pit. The 88 has pit. The 3 has also pit. The 8 has not. So just kind of going through the field to see who has pit and who has not. So unfortunately, it's going to be a little hard in order to tell who has pit and who hasn't. But bear with me here, guys. Looks like Bushfan is another driver that has yet to pit. That is P6. That is the person that's about to be lapped by the 8, just the car in front right there. So as these guys have clearly made up their minds. The fuel is going to be the part that is going to dictate everything. Sauce has his fuel light on right now, and he's going to be pitting this time. We're going to be on board with the 8 to see if what he does. In fact, he's going to stay on out for another lap or so. So I do believe Sauce kind of underfueled his car a little bit, and he is actually in perfect range in order to take one can here. So he will be a little bit faster than the rest of his competition, but he'll be a little bit farther in the pack. So there's the 9 right there. The 4 has yet to pit, and looks like he will be this time. The 8 still has yet to come to pit road, so that is still our leader. P2 being Mike G has yet to pit, and he is essentially banking on a yellow right now, kind of trap these guys a lap down. Fire Slayer has also pit, so there he is. Let's see here. As we are now on 24 laps to go, you can just tell based on the 1 right here that he is absolutely blasting these fast laps right now, trying to get back up through the pace. However, he is kind of burning out his tires by doing so. So that's kind of the risk versus reward. And as the 8 is still has yet to come to pit road, essentially. Whatever the 8 does, he has to get there with enough laps in order to put himself back in position to actually win the stage. Now, there is an opportunity for the 8 to still win this stage. However, the more laps that everyone else is staying on out, comparatively speaking, when everyone pit at the halfway mark, looks like the 8 is probably signaling to the 88 that he is pitting this time. So again, that's just the difference between fresh tires versus old. The 8 probably wants to come on down this time, and he will. The 88 will have to give way. Very good arc into the corner right there. Now the 8, who is our leader, will be down on pit road. Critically, the 1 is Xander is still a lap down. He has yet to go on a round. So there's the 9, the 4, all getting their laps back. But the 1 is Xander. There he is. Still has yet to come around to get his lap done, and there we go. Now the 8, very critically, may have the benefit of doing by staying on out right here, may still be racing the 1 for position. So let's take a look and see where the 8 versus the 1 is. So still on board with let's actually go on board with the 1. There goes the 8 coming out of the pits right here. So the 1 will have about the backstretch distance between himself and the 8. Now it's all going to be up to Cyber in order to track him on down and get this stage victory. Because every point does matter here when it comes to these two in terms of the standings. So we'll keep an eye on that. Looks like Story Square gets elevated up into P3, so let's go on board with him. Here is Story Square. Fire Slayer, unfortunately for him, looks like he has sped. Must have missed that. The 42 is actually still in the race. So I'm just now seeing that from Sauce's POV. So we have a glitch. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. The 42 is still in this race, technically. It does not appear on my screen, but he is still out on track somewhere. We don't know where he is, but he is still in this race. So, again, we've encountered this glitch before. Just one of those lag things. Um, so it looks like Story Square is quickly approaching, or sorry, Packers, I should say, is quickly approaching P3 here. So excellent job by Packers. Again, don't count out this guy in order to get a good finish here, because there is P3 and here's P4 of Packers looking to try to match his number here and get into that podium place. Meanwhile, right behind him is Mike G, who will be on fresher tires because Mike G actually stayed on out just that little bit longer. And now the 88 doing a little bit of line maintenance. I like what he's doing. He's searching for grip. He's kind of arcing his corner up higher in order to get a good launch off. However, that is killing his exit. And as we approach 14 laps to go in this stage, let's check on with our leaders here. Just for reference, here's Bassbuck, who was racing. Remember, spun early in this stage. Now still all the way down here in P9. Liv as well, still in the top 5, so excellent job by him. Let's go on board and check in with our leaders. There's the 1 and there's the 8. That is perfectly enough time for that 8. Now, critically, this is a test run for stage 3, because stage 3 is going to be very similar to stage 2, just with a little bit more laps. So all of these guys looking to have a little bit of knowledge now under their belt in order to get into a rhythm for stage 3, but critically, the 8 of Cyber actually hits the outside wall off of turn 2, and that will almost lose him a couple tenths right here, and which may prove to be critical as he is trying to get this stage win. Let's check on in with the battle for P3, tightening on up right here. Packers, Story Square, and Mike G. P3, 4, and 5. The 47 getting a little bumper happy with the 9 back here. That's what I was seeing off of Sauce's POV. Liv, Morgan Fan, and Just Ken being the sandwich between those two. So here's Liv, and then Just Ken right behind. That is P6 and P7, with P8 being Sauce and P9 being Bassbuck. Liam being P10, and he is actually about to be a lap down right now. So we know where he is now. In fact, he's actually smack dab in between, just now to the outside of the 1. That's why the 1 got a little bit loose right there. So the 42 is smack dab in the middle of the 8 and the 42. The 47 trying with all his might to get on past the 9. In fact, I actually kind of want to go on board with that battle for a hot second. The 47 has a lot fresher, both the 9 and the 47 have around the same amount of tires, I should say. And both of these guys trying to all go for the same track position. Only one person will have it, though, and that is just, from what I'm seeing from the 9's POV, insane moves. So let's see. Here is the 1 versus the 8 coming to the last few laps of this stage. As soon as he comes on around, I'll let you guys know how many. 6 laps to go. And the 8 has so much fresher tires here that it's almost going to be impossible for the 1 to hold him on off. And if he does, hey, you know what? Kudos to you, man. You got this. But here, coming on out of turns 3 and 4, the 8 will have just the grip advantage of being able just to gas it that much farther and be able to push it that much deeper into the corner. You can see the 8 really painting that yellow line all the way around. Will we see the bumper to the back of the 1 in order to get him upset and push him off the track? Not yet, but the 8, though, he's getting a little bit antsy now. 4 laps to go here in this second stage. The 8 trying to get back and tie up the points, exiting this race, and the 1 trying to do all he can in order to bring that gap that much closer. 3 laps to go. Will we see someone try to make it into the top? No, not yet. The 8 being incredibly respectful and not giving the bumper to the 1. Credit where credit's due. I think I would have been like, okay, no, man, you had your chance. But the 8 being incredibly respectful and not putting the bumper to the back of the 1 quite yet. 2 laps to go. But patience can only last for so long, and especially with a little bit of rinse up to the top like that, the 1 can only hold off for so long before the 8, especially as we get into stage 3, can put up with. Will we see this kind of patience going for the win? I don't know, but the final lap here, the 8 can definitely sense blood in the water, and with the 1 going a little bit high, this may be all he needs. A little bit of bumper? No, the 1's going to charge the corner. The 8 earlier to the gas, but not enough. Nowhere near enough, and now the 8 will have to settle for second here in stage 2. P3 will belong to Mike G, it looks like. Story score P4, Packers P5. So very inverse of the stage finishes for these guys. And looks like Bass will have to settle for P9. Still behind the 9 right here. But this is only stage 2. We still have one more stage after this. Lucky Dog will be Fire Slayer with P10. That means P11, 12, and 13 all 1 lap down or more. So we'll be able to tell exactly where Liam is as we rack it back up here going into this. So again, I apologize. Liam was ghosted on our screen. So we have no idea that he was even still in the race. But let's see. Let's see exactly how these guys are going to work here, because now it's going to be 80 laps to go in this race. And because of that, where is the gap? Looks like he is behind, so... Oh, maybe he did actually bow out, maybe. Yep, looks like he finally did. Liam has called it a night, so we do officially have 12 drivers in this race. So with that, as we approach stage 3, or as we're in stage 3 now, I'm going to take a quick break, and I will be right back. Alright guys, I am back. I was listening to a little bit of audio and just, of course, you know, the different drivers in their parties all just talking amongst each other. Talking about bump and runs and all that. Nothing too crazy. Of course, as I always say, it is very hard to pass cleanly. It is very easy to pass, just in general. Usually you just wipe your opponent out of the way. Very easy to do that. However, it is incredibly difficult, and it's actually borderline a craft in order to pass cleanly. So as we just see all of these guys in a single file line, all of these drivers are doing an excellent job in order to keep contact to a minimum. We have yet to have a caution for contact or spin. So all these guys doing an excellent job in order to maintain the integrity of their vehicles right here. The 47, speaking of the bump, getting into the 3, kind of knocking him out of the way, and that is exactly what I'm talking about. Putting himself up into a position right here. Now Packers getting just P5 in the stage, all the way down to P10. Bass as well trying to get back into this lead pack. P7 currently. Cyber though looking a little bit shaky. He is, hang on, there he is. There he is, trying to make his way back into the 1 territory right here. But with this stage being slightly longer, honestly, this is just more opportunity for the drivers to test with what they want to do. Again, it worked for the 1 in order to go half and half. Will he do it again? I don't know. Will Cyber now adapt his strategy to pit halfway because it worked out for the 1? I don't know. This is going to be very critical because we may just see a flip-flop of strategy. The 1 may pit late and the 8 may pit early. But again, this is the stage 3, the all-important stage 3. If a caution comes out now, essentially, not now, but like when you, the pit cycle is actually happening, your race may be over. Will we see the risk being made by the drivers to come down early or not? Sauce, by the way, speaking of moving forward, getting into P5 right here. 200 laps are on docket tonight. Keep in mind, guys, keep in mind, the Xfinity length here is 125 laps. So you would be over with this race by now on Monday. So it's very interesting, actually, how the lap count's 125 for Xfinity, but 200 for Richmond. But it feels so much longer. We've been going for 45 minutes, and this race is expected to be around an hour and 15. It's actually one of the shorter races, but it just feels so much longer. And that's just because all these drivers are absolutely taxing themselves corner in, corner out with the different lines and the difference in braking zones. If you're behind a guy, if you're in front of a guy, if you're trying to pass a guy, if you're trying to move a guy, or girl. Of course, you know, we're all inclusive here at MRL. But yes, this track here at Richmond absolutely feels like a marathon when it comes to the race length. 200 laps feels like 600, at least with me. Much like Sonoma, especially for Sonoma, because I was in a race last night at Sonoma and it felt like an eternity. And we have to be back there again in 2 weeks. Let's go. So plenty of practice for these guys in order to get their Sonoma knowledge. But if they are not in our friends over at Cobra, then definitely they are kind of behind the 8 ball. However, speaking of behind the 8 ball, Just Ken, who was able to stay on the lead lap, mind you, excellent work by him, has now found himself into P10, I do believe actually P11 off of this. So he is kind of behind the 8 ball here early in this stage. 60 laps to go, coming around to the flag stand this time. And again, halfway in this stage is around 160 or so. So we're looking at another 20 laps here before pit stops could occur. And again, if you're in the back of the pack, you want to pit early. I still maintain that. However, we now have a top 4 breakaway here for the lead, with Source Square being the caboose on that, just in front of Sauce. In fact, we're watching this battle right now with Sauce, Liv, and Bassbucks. Bassbuck being able to make his way back forward here as kind of still catching himself from an early stage 2 spin. And again, that's just how long it takes. You have to be pitch perfect here, pixel perfect, every single corner of every single lap. In fact, the 95 getting Omega loose right there, that's probably going to allow the 47 to try to get on past, but the 95 planting it exactly where he needs to, and now getting into the inside there, the 95 essentially going to have to concede the position. That is unfortunately a losing battle, and just like that, the 47 is able to get past. That is for P6. So again, it's gonna be interesting here as these laps are just ticking on by on what these drivers will do. The one has found himself in a little bit of a groove. In fact, we're trying to go on board with him. There he is. Has found himself gapping the 8. I wonder if the 8's kind of mirror driving right now, because he has the 12 ever so present in that rear view mirror, which is, in my experience, lap time off of each lap. So when you just aren't focusing with what's in front of you, I mean, I know that sounds like a no crap private patent moment, but when you just aren't focusing on what's in front of you, you are quickly losing sight at what you need to achieve. The 12 and the 88 both are ever so present in that 8 smear. So I'm wondering if that's actually impacting his driving just a little bit here, as I just noticed the ticker just goes up and up just a little bit. It's about a tenth of every 2 laps, slight, but still increasing ever so presently. Just looking to see if there's any major battles out on track. Fire Slayer being able to get up into position. Just Ken as well being kind of gapped by the 3 of Packers. That's nothing really to talk about at the current moment. We're kind of in a little 3-way battle situation right here. The 47 being the meat in the 95 and the 9 sandwich right here. So that is a battle in and of itself. Then you have the 4 of Bushfan, who was racing the 11 of Keith, wherever he is. The 11 of Keith is somewhere. There he is. That is for a position between those two. But though, just talking about just strategy here, 10 more laps until the pit window opens. And again, how much fuel do you take? Do you want to expect there's going to be green-white checkers? We saw this in last season's race, where we had a green-white checkered, or a late race yellow, I should say, in order to kind of cause a little bit of concern. Will we see that again? Or are you just assuming that because we have gone 150 laps without a yellow, we are going to continue that here? I don't know. Again, I feel like anything can happen, because we have seen anything happen. Again, I feel like that's my quote of the season so far, is how quickly things can change in a lap. We've seen the 47 battle for a podium, and now he's back in P6. And at the current moment, not having the pace that the top 3 have. Speaking of, we have Story Square ever so presently making his way up into the 12's mirror, as the 8 has now gapped himself from those two. The 8 starting to find a little pace here late in this run. Meanwhile, the 47 doing the exact same with the 9 just in front of him. So that is going to be maybe a position here as we are approaching pit cycles right now. The 95 being gapped by both of them. That's for P7. Fun fact, Liv has most common finish so far this season is 7th place. Let's see here. What is that stat right there? Let's see here. Liv. Oh, sorry. Oh, there we go. Finish. Liv. He has finished 7th twice. Daytona and Auto Club, which were the first 2 races of the season. Both of those times he finished 7th. And currently in position for another 7th place finish. Hey, you know what? That's 777. That's lucky. Which means that next week at Kansas may be his lucky night. Let's see here. trying to go on board with Xander and Sauce to see what's happening right now. Nothing too crazy. Keith about to be lapped by the one again. Looks like Cyber has lost a little bit of time to the one, and that's probably going to be a little bit more time as the run ekes on out. Story Square does get the pass done on Mike G for P3, so currently Mike G still looking for that first podium of his MRL career. May have to wait another week for that. Everyone watching right now, as we are quickly approaching 40 laps to go, I do want to say thank you, each and every one of you, for coming on out, taking time out of your days to watch the stream, support the stream, as well as supporting these drivers that have taken time out of their day in order to race in this little league. We like to have fun here. So thank you all so much for just doing what you do. It's the reason why I do it and why I love doing it. So going strong, MRL. That is what we like to see. So thank you so much for coming on out. But this race is far from over. We are 40 laps to go, and no sign of anyone pitting quite yet. Not seeing anyone want to take that hard left. Bass actually may, and I think he is. Xander and Bass both are going to come on down in order to get their stops done and over with. The 8, though, critically being passed by the 11. The 11 has already pit, but that is just bad placement by the 11 to come on out directly in front of the 8. So now the 8's kind of behind the 8 ball a little bit. So that's probably the best news if you are a Xander fan. But critically, though, not seeing anyone of these drivers speed here on the last stop of the race, so that's excellent job by them. The 11 letting the 8 go, as I would have hoped. And here goes the 1 exiting pit lane here. It just immediately turns right. What a way to enter, resume back on track. So now the 8 looks like he's going to be doing exactly what he did last run, and just be able to just kind of get a few laps under his belt. Only a couple drivers have pit so far in this run. And very critically, though, none of the top spots. Story Square and Mike G, both of these drivers still going at it. The 47 has already come on out, and critically for him, came on out in front of both of them. So that is traffic he doesn't have to worry about. So excellent job by him for that timing. Sauce has yet to pit as well, and he is just in front of, couple cars in front, as I should say, as Just Ken, I do believe, has also pit. So that is not poor position. Story Square is going to make that hard left turn on a pit road, so excellent job by him in order to make that transition into the pits. The 8 now trying to just stay ahead of both the 11 and the 47, who are on fresher tires behind, so that will actually mess him up, as they have the liberty of passing their drivers if they do so choose. They're not obligated to follow the blue flag procedure right there, because if they can actually create a gap on the leader, why can't they? Here's Just Ken, who has already pit, trying to get up on current P3 contender Sauce, and these cautions are just not working out right now. Again, for Cyber's race, this race would need to have a caution literally right now, and I'm just not seeing it. There's no cars anywhere near each other that would create a yellow, which I guess is good news for the 1, the 47, and all of the drivers that are coming on down sooner rather than later. Sauce deciding to give up the ghost and come on down for this stop right here, taking a can that we've seen, doing a little bit of strategy here. The 1, though, is what I've been seeing, being so far ahead from his competition. It looks like the 11 has called it a night now. There is Keith deciding to say, you know what, I'll take P12 here tonight, meaning there's 11 cars out on track somewhere. P11, I do believe, is Bush Fan. I could be mistaken on that, though. Xander making his way up into P6 as all these drivers, with the remaining top 5, still have yet to pit. Sauce coming on out of the pits is going to be behind the 47, but in front of the 95 critically, and the 12, who has yet to pit. The 12 is P2 currently and has yet to pit. Top 5 all still coming on down. Make that top 4 now, as Fireslayer is now on pit road to get his final service of the night. 3 DNFs out of this race, and we have 11 still remaining. The one of Xander trying to get below and past the 4 of Bush quickly and efficiently. Now the 8 going to give up the ghost and come on down for his final service of the night. Now critically, he may actually come on out behind the 88 here, which is maybe the worst news that he's had, because then that is a position that he has to worry about. So we're going to be on board with the 1 here for a hot second, because here he is getting his lap, his lap back. Or no, actually, I apologize. The 95 is actually now the leader, so that's 5 bonus points for him. But we're still going to be on board with him, as we are going to be waiting for Cyber to come up on him before getting a little bit of race heavy with his back bumper. There is the 8, that is for position. And now the 8, still waiting to come out of the pits, is going to be so far behind his competition. Oh, this may be race determining. A whole straightaway. In fact, that is a huge gap between those drivers. The 3 of Pack is also going to get 5 bonus points. So we actually have a few different lap leaders here. Looks like the 1, the 95, the 3, and the 8 all getting a lap led out of this, so excellent job by them. Took on 75 laps, but he finally led a lap. Hey, that's 5 bonus points add to your bucket there, man. So as we are coming on out, and I am correct, the 88 did actually jump the 8 in terms of pit stop sequence. So trying to go on board with, there's the 1, which is our leader currently, the 88, who is just in front of the 8 right here, Numerical Brothers, trying to get into P2. Now the 12 is going to be somewhere in this pack. In fact, he's going to be a few cars behind. Major league lost out to his competition, as he was behind both the 9 and the 12 coming on out of the pits. So here's the 8 trying to make up a little bit of time here on our leader, but that's 6.2 seconds that he has on our leader of the 1, with 21 laps to go and a car to pass. It's going to be an incredibly tough task in order for that to happen. However, I do actually want to watch this battle. We have the battle here for P4 currently, with Bassbuck having it, Mike G wanting it, but the difference between these 2 tires is about 15 laps. So these drivers are going to be looking to get a little feisty here at the end of this run. We have the 47 that is probably going to be arcing into the corner. The 12 doing a very excellent job and kind of breaking it a little bit early, but he will get a little touchy with the 47's bumper, just letting him know he's there. That's, of course, the Dale 1 tap right there, saying that he's there. Second time is, okay, get out of the way. Third time is, okay, now you're done. We're about to see if we're going to be seeing it here again in this turn. Oh, big lunge. The 12 is going to probably get a little bit cross with that, but hey, you know what? That is what we love to see here at Richmond. So what can the 9 do? Can he capitalize off of this and get a little something off of this endeavor here? Position change, by the way. P2 now belongs to Cyber as Story Square gets back into P3. And there we go. The 12 is going to get past the 47 for P4. Now he's going to set his sights on the 88, but will he have enough laps to get there? No, especially with the 47 just getting right on back, and now the 9 is going to try to get a little spicy with it and get into this battle for P4. Bumpers being exchanged, and all three of these drivers all having a shot. The 12 getting a little bit tight, hits the bumps just right, kind of knocks him off the track. The 47 still having the highest of momentum, but will lose on out because of the shorter way around. But he will have a proper line going into turn 1. Now the 9 wants to go 3 wide. He is. He's going to take it 3 wide, coming off of turn 2. Oh my goodness me. Absolute scenes here at Richmond. Just kind of keep an eye on the gap between the leader and P2. It's 5.5 seconds. It's going to need a major mistake by the 1 in order for him to lose this race. When 15 laps to go, coming on down to 14, the race is getting grimmer and grimmer for the 8. The 12 still trying to fully pass the 47 for position right here, and he will finally do so unless the 47 has something to say about that here in the turn 1. But the 9 really charging the corner. He's actually going to lose on out to the 20 right behind. That is actually not for position, mind you. Fire Slayer, I think, actually sped off of the last exchange of pit stops, and now he is well behind the 8 ball. He is not for position off of all of this, so he is just kind of riding around. Let's go on board with Liv to see what he's up to. So this is P7, trying to at least better his most common scored position. Oh, the 00 right behind him just smacked the outside wall. Packers having a little tussle with the 00 back here. That is for position, mind you. So both of these guys going for position number 8. That's 8th and 9th right here with P10, I do believe, belonging to Fire Slayer, and P11 belonging to Bush, or vice versa. It's one of those two. The gap has not come down at all. I think P1 and P2 is kind of wrapped up in this scenario right here. But P3 P4 may be still under question, as 12 is finally starting to gap himself from the 47 and the 9. Now, with all of the rear touches from the 47, in fact, right there, the 9 sent it on in. A little bit of contact between himself and the 47 sends the 47 up the track. The 47 with the lunge right there, nowhere to go, and now the 9, having a little bit of fresher tires here, can actually start to stretch his legs going into turn 1 and turn 3, really dive it on down. And now this may be Batsbuck's P6 finish right here, and I think with that little slide, that may kind of just do it. So the 20 is not for position, again, just to reiterate. But the 9 gets loose, so this may be far from over. As the 95 gets loose, the 95 got loose off of that whole exchange, and now here he is. That could have been a caution right there. Packers moving up into P7. I wonder what happened. I think maybe the 95 just got loose and binned it. I'm not sure, but now here he is down in a P9. And now that may actually be a little bit of good news for Cyber, but again, he's just going to run out of laps. Coming to 5 to go here in this race. Or sorry, 6 to go here in this race. All these drivers looking for a yellow that just did not come. The entire race, apart from the stages, clean and green. No caution for incident. No caution for blown tires or contact. Just clean and green racing, man. Now, will we see this on Monday? I don't know. But Cyber, unfortunately, is probably going to be kicking himself, wondering what exactly happened. We're going to be asking him, of course, in the interviews to see what he thought the difference was. Was it the pace, or was it the actual maybe coming on down a little bit earlier? I don't know. But P4 may now be finally done and dusted, as the 9 has kind of fallen off the pace of the the 12 here, so that could be for P4. And again, Mike G will not get a podium. In fact, Mike G so far best finish this season is P4. He's going to match that again tonight. Nowhere to really go into P3 unless Story Square makes a huge mistake. So Story Square doing an excellent job. Let's go on board with our leader here as we have just a few more laps to go. I do believe this is for 2 laps to go. Yep, 2 laps to go. On board with our leader here. The 00 Just Ken got crazy loose off of turn 4. I'm sure the one did not want to see that. He's going to take it very easy through here because he has the gap in order to play with. So why not take no risks need to be made, I should say. So coming into turn 1, the 00 again, I think just wants to end this race. He may just let the 1 go just to end the race a little bit sooner. But coming into turn 3, the 1 doing an excellent job and being able to navigate his way through the field, through the laps, and into victory lane for the 3rd time this season. Excellent work by him. Cyber will have to settle for P2. Story Square will actually get P3. Back-to-back podiums by him, with P4 being Mike G. And Sauce P5 coming on around, spinning at the line. Of course, Bassbuck P6, Packers P7, Just Ken Live, and Fire Slayer P to finish up the running order for P10 at least. Whew. What a race, guys. What a race. Bushfan P11, Keith P12, Liam P13, and Deathstorm will get P14 out of all that. And, oh my goodness. I'm worn out, and I didn't even race. But that is exactly what I was talking about. Richmond, very technical track. All these drivers being tested lap after lap, corner after corner. And as we go and get into the loading screen, let's see what our fastest lap is. Fast lap belongs to Cyber with a 20.8 flat. 0.2 off a pole, with P2 being Live with a 20.827. So let's get our top 3 up in here and let's get into these interviews. So I'm going to mute myself real quick. I'll be right back. All right, we're back. So as we wait for our top 3, of course, we're going to go over our full results yet again. Let's see here. Just need to pull them back up. Apologies. Professional commentator, by the way. There we go. So Xander, of course, P1, Cyber P2, Sorcerer P3, Mike G P4, Sauce completes the top 5, Bass P6, Packers P7, Just Ken P8, Liv P9, Fireslayer P10, with Bush, Keith, Liam, and Deathstorm in that order. So, looking at the Discord right now, as we are just waiting for our top 3 to join, we have 2 of the top 3. Let's see. Let's see what is going on in the Discord. Of course, looks like Story Square and Bush had a little bit of contact, but hey, you know what? Again, hats off driving to Story Square for apparently waiting up for him. There he is, actually, speaking of. And Fireslayer, not 1, but 2 speeding penalties. So that's what did him in. So that's how he finished P10 after having pace for a top 5. So let's get up into our interviews now, and let's just go straight into Story Square. So let's go to Alex Bowman here. Story Square, man, you got a copy? What do you have your voice on always allow? First of all,
Maybe I should check.
Yes, because I think we had this issue last week.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I changed it already, so I think I'm should be good.
Okay. Well, Story Square, man. Your race was very up and down. Just looking at the Discord, you had a strong start to the stage until there was a little bit of contact, and maybe you can illuminate me on what happened there. But it was just a claw your way back up. I want to know how hard was it to navigate yourself through traffic?
Oh, it was definitely difficult. I kind of went too tight on the sliders, so entering the corner, it was just so hard to turn. So I was easily getting beat there. But once the run finally got going, I was able to start making spots up with people getting loose, which was definitely good. And then the second stage, I got knocked out of the way, like all the way up the track. So people easily flew by me there, and I got a huge run, and I was about to make it three wide, and I didn't see Bush fan, and pretty much knocked him all the way to the grass. So down the backstretch, I pulled over and let him by, and that pretty much put me dead last. So at that point, I just had to claw my way back, and I don't know what happened on pit road, but I gained so many spots on pit road. I mean, it was crazy. I went from fifth or sixth to third. So I'll
Off
definitely
the
take
final
that.
exchange?
Yeah. Well, no. For the second stage when we pitted and then came
Gotcha.
out, I came out third.
Gotcha. Now, and that's what I wanted to ask is because it seemed like to me that there was a difference in strategy amongst the field. Pit halfway and just kind of have a nice even split, or wait until you're basically you have to and then just blitz it there at the end. Did you adopt your strategy from stage two or to stage three, or were you pretty much gun ho on sticking to it?
No, I switched it a little bit whenever I saw what Cyber did when he pitted a little bit later, and I was like, hey, well, maybe I can do that. And I pitted a lap or two after Xander because like we were really low on fuel, and I thought it's way too late to try that move. So I pitted the lap after Xander did, and I knew I wasn't gonna catch Xander, but I felt maybe I could have the pace for Cyber if it kept going, but nah, he beat me on the strategy as well. But yeah. Before I pitted, I actually the 47 came out at like the worst possible time. I finally got past Mike G, and once he got inside, the 47 got inside me, I got put in the wall, and that took away a lot of time. So, but yeah,
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, though, still a podium and got some good stage points out of
yeah.
that. So coming off a win last week to a podium this week, excellent job, Story Square, back to back.
Thank you.
So let's see what you can do next week at Kansas. That's gonna be a lot of fun, right? Kansas, high, yeah, high, wide, and handsome.
Yeah.
Die Bomb City, let's go. Story Square, excellent job. Let's go into now our second place driver, and kind of has to again kind of settle for just being short. Um, Cyber, got a copy, man?
Yes, I do.
So, again, you had a very strong car week in, week out, but unfortunately, just came up a little bit short tonight. What was the difference in I guess was it the strategy or was it the maybe the lap traffic? I mean, what was it like from your POV?
The difference was, I think, an adjustment that I tried making for a really long run situation, and it kind of backfired. So, yeah, it's just a common mantra with adjustments. Like you try to think you make the right one, and then you end up not doing so. So, yeah, it was mainly that adjustment, the final stage, that kind of put me in there. So I had to just wait till that last stop to put it back to where it was. So,
And by then, the damage is already done.
hmm
Just one of those unfortunate things. Because I was actually curious because I noticed that Xander was actually able to gap you by about a second and a half at the early part of stage three. Of course, that wasn't the end of the line, of course, but still, that definitely doesn't help. But and then I don't know. Was it hard to get around? Much like the same question I asked Story Square. Was it hard to actually get around Richmond? Because I noticed with me, it's very very technical. You have to be on point
Mm.
every corner, every lap.
I mean, in the long run, yes, because you're trying to keep your car stable and balanced and not spinning out because with worn tires around here, you're going to be spinning like crazy. So I would say in the long run, it could be tough. I think in middle part of the run, not really if you have that rhythm down with the bottom line of the track. So
Gotcha. Well, Cyber, again, another P2 out of this. The win's gonna happen eventually, um, but just unfortunately not today. So again, Cyber P2 at Richmond. Excellent job. Now let's go on to our winner here. For the third time this season, much I guess akin to the old days. Xander, how are you doing?
I feel great.
Going back to back here at Richmond, you won the season two race in dramatic fashion and beating the likes of Elite Precision there at the line, as well as the person you just beat tonight. Cyber was in that mix as well. But the tale of two races, this race went caution free apart from the stage breaks. So there's a lot of difference in uh, strategy. And what was it like as you were kind of racing? What, like pit halfway or what?
Well, I knew I was gonna pay halfway. It's just sort of that just be good throughout the entire run. I guess to me it was sort of like on the longer run I would still run like 21 O's, 21 ones. So I felt like even if I decided to go longer, I'm not losing that much time. So in the second stage I pit early. And split it halfway. And I had a really, really bad entry in to pit road and I almost spun out. I don't know if you saw that, but
I
and then
did.
from that my exit was good, and then I ended up getting underneath bush fan, and I hit the apron into three, and almost spun it. Like I lost about like 5 seconds. I like hit the wall. Really bad, and so I was like, okay, well, Cyber's probably gonna win the stage, and then I was able to haul him off. So that's when I knew I was like, okay, I'm gonna split it again because I think I gained enough time to where if I try to do it in stage three, I can make it work, and I did. But I also had a really horrible exit. I like got really loose and almost spun it and had like almost hit the wall. I think I did hit the wall off of two for the exit. So just mistakes almost killed me, but I was able to kind of hang in.
I didn't see what happened in stage two, but I did see you coming off of the pits in stage three, and I was just like, oh man, yeah, that's a way to do it.
That was
But
pretty embarrassing.
hey, you know what? We've all been there. Hey, you straight up helicoptered my car going into last night. So definitely, that wasn't the highlight for me in my racing career. So definitely, it happens. It happens.
Yeah.
So absolute scenes. But Xander, excellent work. 3 wins on the season, and as right now, I think 23 or 22 because of stage points. Points on back from Cyber. Next week, Kansas. If you recall, you were the winner in that oh so dramatic season zero race. How are you looking forward to Kansas, if at all?
Oh, I'm looking forward to Kansas. If it's anything like that magical race, and that's probably my favorite race win of all time. So if it's anything like that, I'm really excited for it. But tonight was just a really good effort from everyone at Blazing Wheels. I think we all pretty much finished pretty high, and I want to say thanks to Gear Wrench. I want to say thanks to Monster. Um, the car was as fast as Xfinity Internet. Hats off to Cyber. He was, me and him raced awesome here tonight, and I know this is sort of one of his better tracks, so I knew I had to give him a little bit of a run for his money. And then hats off to Story Square for a great run as well. And I know some other people had some good ones. So thanks, Patton. You did an awesome job as always. So I'm happy to be here.
Oh, thank you. And with that, 3 wins on the board, 5 in a row for Blazing Wheels, by the way. Um,
Woo-hoo.
excellent job by those guys up there for the entire team, all 10 of you guys. Um, it's always feels so weird to say, but either way, I do want to say excellent job by everyone in the race. Just straight up, people were giving a lot of room. There's a lot of opportunities where people could have just given the bumper and just walked away. But that didn't really happen. So, hey, let's see what the Monday guys can do. Hopefully, it'll be the same thing. but we'll never know until for 2 days from now. But until then, guys, any final thoughts before we close that out for the night?
Um,
Yeah, Xander, it is kind of demoralizing when someone says, "Yeah, I made so many mistakes and I somehow kept the lead."
that's what I don't know. I almost died a couple of times, and I was lucky to be alive and continue. So
Yeah,
Just do it on Monday. Just beat him on Monday. Easy.
I will do
Um,
my best.
but yeah, with that, we're gonna close on out for the night. Thank you all so much for coming on out. Everyone taking time out of their days to race with us, to take the time to watch the stream and support the league. Thank you all so much, and we will see you on Monday at Richmond for the Xfinity race. Have a good night, everyone. Peace.
peace.